Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong. On his part said, we have come to discuss with the issues we discussed and also follow up. The president is not around, and many of the issues we will continue to discuss with the vice president so that there will be a smooth, harmonious relationship with the labor. Speaking on deadline for NLC indefinite strike by the organized labor, the labor minister said, no, no, no. As for me, I don't think there is any problem. We have fully spent time with the Nigerian labor. And posture of the president, too, is towards welfare and prosperity for workers. We have no doubt, and that's why many of the meetings we have with them, we are not ending up boxing ourselves. We smile, all of it. We hope that the best is going to come on the situation with labor's demands and possibility of the strike. All right, we'll leave it at this for now. We seem to still be going around the same issue. The vice president is trying to make room or trying to be reasonable enough towards having time and then also defending the government that the government has the interest of its citizenry at heart. Okay, so but when we talk about giving government time, is it time after the time already given or an extra time? What's this whole thing about concerning time?
You know, the SGF is basically doing the job. Its responsibility is to intervene for government.
Yeah.
And he's doing his best to ensure that God does not go on strike. And certainly, the truth is, going on strike would definitely affect the system. Definitely would affect the system. Because the bulk of government functionality is on civil servants, which forms the labor. And should these guys go on strike, it's going to halt government action. The political staff, they are not enough to run government. And the bulk of the civil servants does that. So should they go on strike, it's definitely. And governments reasonably would always appeal that should not happen. But that is the only strength Labour has. You know, that's the greatest strength they have. There are other avenues they can explore, but this seems to give them quick result. If they have to go to court, of course, it's going to take processes for them to get verdict. But the strike thing gives them an instant course of action. You just hush your operations, and then it affects government. But it's going to be in the interest of everybody if government understands that there is a distrust already, and they should make more efforts to earn the trust. The only thing that will make Labour subpedal on utilizing the strike option is when they see sincerity on the part of government. When they begin to see that, oh, government is really, really sincere, working around the clock
Yes.
to ensure that their demands are being met, you're going to see that Labour itself will become reasonable. In fact, the populace will become the judge in the case.
Yeah.
And if Labour wants to go on strike, the populace will be able to speak up. You even see members of the union say, no, we're not going on strike. All right? But if government continues, Labour has seen it all, I would want to say. They've seen past administrations. You saw how it was with the Buhari-led administration, how they were dragging and all. They don't want to be taken for granted. That's what Labour does not want.
All right.
And government has got to, ensure that trust is earned. That's the only way they can subpedal that.
All right. Now, let's really look at it from the angle of the SGF, who says that, which is primarily what we're talking about, the strike is not in the best interest of Nigerian workers or Nigerians, as the case may be. If the strike is not in the best interest of Nigerians, so demand or pressure the government to do what needs to be done, what then is in the interest of Nigeria? The silence. We don't know when anything is going to take place. We don't know what then should be the interest of Nigerians if we're looking at it from his perspective.
Well, I think his perspective is to the effect that, government is trying to do everything possible to have this work. And if Labour goes on strike, which forms a bulk of government force, it's going to even halt their operations to be able to do what they need to do for even Labour itself. I think that's the angle they are coming from.
All right.
But then, we should put an end to lip services, and there should be real-time solution to all of these problems. And it's something that should be done with because a lot of these issues are old issues. And I think that before, and everybody's conversant with it, everybody. I mean, the Minister of Labour and Productivity, all right, was a governor in Plateau State for 8 years. He's very conversant with what the issues are. The Minister of Labour for State was in House of Reps also. She's been a member of the National Assembly. She's very much abreast with the issue. Okay? The SGF himself was in the National Assembly. He's been a governor. He's very much abreast with the issues. The Vice President himself has been a governor and had been in the National Assembly. He's very much abreast with the issue. So it is expected that when this administration came on board, they are coming on board, knowing what the issues are, and they have solutions at hand. Okay, so and that's why you see that Labour would not want to give this government 1 year, to be able to, come to a coup.
All right.
So the solution should just keep coming forth. Daily, we should see what government is doing to alleviate the suffering of Nigerian workers. All
right, thank you. Let's wrap up the show with this story from Kano State over the tribunal ruling. The Kano State government has declared a 24-hour curfew to prevent breakdown of law and order following the 3-man election tribunal ruling led by Justice Oluyemi Akintan Osadebe and now annulling the election of Governor Yusuf. The Kano State Commissioner of Police, CP Mohammed Usaini Gumel, in a statement issued to newsmen in the state, said a 24-hour curfew order has been communicated by the state government via letter dated 20th September 2023, taking effect from 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 20th September to 6 p.m. on Thursday, 24th September 2023. In view of the constitutional mandate of the Nigerian Police Force, alongside the relevant internal security and law enforcement agencies to preserve law and order in the state, the Kano State Commissioner Police Command have mapped out strategies on that direction and call on the good people of the state to give the necessary confidence and support. Going forward, Kano State residents are called upon to note that combined security forces have already been dispatched to the nooks and crannies, including the entry and exits of the state, to ensure enforcement and the strict compliance of the curfew. Violators will be arrested and made to face the full wrath of the law. Finally, I wish to appreciate all the peace-loving people of the state, he said, and urge them to remain law-abiding, as it is in the best interest of all that we come together to maintain law and order. And that's coming from the commissioner. So, quick one, Doom. Yeah, this is necessary. I mean, if we're talking about the Kano State, we have the Kwankwasia movement, and of course, the division between the APC and the NNPP right now is natural to know that there's going to be uprising, as you may. However, this decision to do a 24-hour curfew, okay, after the 24-hour, what happened? The governor said he's appealing the case, of course. So that's understandable. After the 24 hours, what happened?
I think the police will have their strategy, but I want to commend them for taking that decision, because at the break of the news, a lot would have erupted in Kano State.
You bet.
Because there are already tensions. The new governor came in and started destroying things, and it was perceived to be against former governor's investments. A lot of these properties we had were investment. So, and you saw that the president, when he came into office, was trying to do some kind of partnership, with the leader of the Kwankwasia movement. Kwankwasia himself was the presidential candidate. And that seemingly didn't work. We had the current APC chairman, who is the former governor, when he was interviewed about the visit of Senator Kwankwasia, to the presidential villa. And he said if he had met him, he would beat him up. He was
slap him, yeah.
So if the two major actors in this, would act that way. So I'm trying to imagine how much more their supporters at home. Because supporters are even more fanatical than their leaders. So, different supporters, you can't estimate what one person can do. And that state has so much population. And they are very, very fanatical when it comes to politics and political followership. So there's a divide. And violence could have just erupted instantly at the break of the news, because it was reported that different political parties were praying. You saw the Kwankwasia movement gathering to pray to God for the judgment to favor them. You also saw that of the APC praying to God to favor them. So when that news broke, it would have led to a lot of violence. But I want to thank them for their timely intervention and the wisdom to have called for a curfew. I think that the 24 hours curfew avails them the time to plan better and increase their security network and all of that. That couldn't have been done if people were on the streets, people were walking. It would have become a lot more cumbersome. So I want to believe that within the time space where there was curfew, the security agencies have been able to redeploy themselves and then re-network to ensure that they have a better security architecture to mitigate any tendency that would want to prompt as a result of that. But then, so far so good. I'm happy that we've not heard any bad news from Kano State.
Kano, yeah.
And I want to speak to everyone. Should they be hearing me from here, please, I want to make a special appeal. Nigeria is already hot and too hot already. And we should allow the issues be dispensed, at the Apita, which is the Supreme Court, so that, at the end of the day, we'll have peace.
Yeah.
Like they say here, peace is priceless.
Peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Well, a quick one just before, if you can, just about a minute or thereabout. Now, like I asked, after the 24 hours, what happened? Beyond the police enforcing the curfew announced by the government or ordered by the government, do you think there is need for, you talked about the Kwankwasia movement, the leaders of some of these major stakeholders also coming to speak to their people, at least to allow the court process to go on without...
Very important. Very important. I expect that they do that. I expect that at this point, the usual thing you hear in the statement is no victor, no vanquished. I expect that the various leaders of these political fights should be able to speak to their people, maintain calm. I mean, as at this point, there is still a window for either sides to have it. The government has not left yet. The government is still in power. But they can't leave until the Supreme Court says so. The government is still in power. That's a win for them. These ones, they have gotten, all they have to hold on to, the APC has to hold on to the court judgment. They are not yet in power. So I think it's a win-win situation for both sides. All of them will have to build in hope. If they start fighting and killing themselves now, at the end of the day, who becomes the beneficiary?
Exactly.
You that has the judgment, you're not yet in power, and your hope is to be in power. So if you die before the power is given to you, who benefits? Yeah. So, and you that is in power, if you die before your power is retained, who benefits? So at the end of the day, everyone has got to, like the Yorubas will say, farabale, my principal will say, melembe, melembe, calm down, and let's explore the window of taking the matters to the Supreme Court. So I expect the leaders of the various political parties to speak to their people, to be a little more patient and continue to pray to God and to see that victory comes to their side. But politics is interesting, and this can be done without violence. It's a game of the numbers, and whoever has the numbers and are operated rightly should have the game.
All right, thank you very much. I will keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, that nothing comes out of this in terms of violence, but we wish the best for the people of Kano State. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Dim, for being part of ATM Blowout this morning. It's always refreshing to having you on the show. And that's been a show, everyone. Now, if you miss any part of the conversation, not to worry. The show was streamed live on all our platforms, not just on the TV station. It was streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and our website, and on our app. So if you miss any part of it, just log on to Atlantic Television Network on Facebook and YouTube, and you get all the details of today's Blowout, and we look forward to hearing from you. Also, you can also watch us live on AtlanticTelevisionNetwork.tv. That's our website, or download our app from ATN Live. From the App Store, it's ATN Live. Of course, you can watch us anytime and anywhere. Share with your friends, and of course, look forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to follow us on other social media platforms. On X, we're Atlantic TV Net. On Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress.